This is Robert Marglanchi, the Mindshare Learning Report, Canada's Learning and Technology e-magazine. And welcome to This Week in Canadian EdTech special unboxing microbit in the Climate Action Kit with STEM education legend Peter Skillen for a sneak peek today and some inspiration to enter the Schools of the Future Challenge, Student Innovation Challenge, in combination with the Sustainable Development Goals. Only 19 days to go to enter. And Peter Skillen, thank you for joining me today.
An absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me, Robert. It's always good
Well,
to chat.
awesome. Well, I want to say a little bit about you because I called you a legend. We've been knowing each other for some 25 plus years back in the learning company days with Kevin O'Leary. That seems like only yesterday, let's say. But Maya, you haven't changed much. You're looking great. And one thing about you, you stay active as I do, and that's so important, isn't it, for your well-being and balance? But we'll talk about that after I do a little introduction, as you are a learner, teacher, and you are currently project manager and curriculum lead for the Code to Learn initiative, funded by the Canadian government to support learning of computational thinking, coding, and digital skills by and for students and educators. Peter, you spent 4 decades of making an impact in K-12, and I've known you for many, many years as a manager, digital age learner lead at YMCA in the Greater Toronto area, highly involved with ECHO as the past president and various committees, OTF, and you know what I admire about you? You're still going strong. You haven't sailed into that sunset as you could have, but you're not. And you've been talking about STEM since I've known you, and you've come of age. How does that make you feel?
Well, it's awesome. Obviously, I mean, I started in 1977 with grade ones and coding. Strangely enough, I started teaching in 1970, so I'm actually in my 50-something years of education.
Oh, you got to update your LinkedIn.
But
that's amazing.
And coding was huge in the 80s. Huge. I was president of a special interest group for Logo, Seymour Papert's foundation back.
And I interviewed him, and he was my first interview ever. So you're in great company.
Fantastic. And all through the 80s. And then it's, when the World Wide Web came along, it sort of died off. And then we got a rebirth, I guess, in about 2007. So now here we are, sort of really rolling with it, and it's in the curriculum and all. So hopefully it'll stick well this time. It'll be great.
Well, congratulations on winning the CanCode competition for a third round, which it's not an easy feat, is it? You had to prove your value and the impact that you made in partnership with Michael and taking it global as well.
Yeah.
Why am I escaping Michael's company? You can refresh my memory there on that one.
Michael Furtick's.
Or Michael Montreal.
Oh, Michael Quinn and LCSI. Yeah, Michael
LCSI.
Quinn of LCSI, Seymour Paper's company in Montreal. And I work with Michael Furtick of Taking It Global. So it's really the grant goes to Taking It Global, and we administer it on behalf of.
Let's talk about the impact that you've made on the last 2 rounds and how this one's a little bit different.
Well, I said I wanted to stick this time with coding, and I think one of the things that will make it stick is if it's valuable to educators and learners, if it's embedded within other constructs and so forth. And so, if you scroll down that page there, Robert, you'll start to see some of the topics that we have. So we have Indigenous ways of knowing mathematics is one of our great projects. And so basically what happens is kids and community get together with an Indigenous community and have conversations, so we're doing it the right way. And they'll have elders come in and do the teachings to the students. Then they'll have Indigenous artists come in and do stuff with and do the weaving or the beading and study the mathematics of it. And this is through Lakehead University, so very nice. And then
Brilliant.
the kids code their patterns in Lynx, the coding language that we use. So we do
Right.
that. And then there's the Terry Fox. It's tied to Canadian history. There's the Secret Path project
Amazing.
that we do in Lynx. So it's
You,
obviously reconciliation.
someone suggested that Ryerson should have renamed their university Terry Fox University.
That's a good idea.
Just I don't think he offended anyone ever, and it was
Right. Yeah, indeed.
amazing.
And then, we have the other project down below there. If you keep going, you'll see the Your Voices Power project, which isn't coding
Yes.
with Linux, but it's coding with Python. And
Oh,
this is a
cool.
fantastic initiative that was started in the States by Pharrell Williams and Amazon and
Yes.
Georgia Tech University. And so it's about studying racial inequities and then remixing songs of so forth. Well,
Amazing.
Michael Furtick decided to bring it to Canada. And so Amazon.ca has been involved. We had Indigenous writers write the curriculum. I wrote the Python piece of the curriculum. And so it's a contest. Kids can win $5,000, another contest.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And we had a winner last year with the Pharrell piece, but now we have 3 Indigenous Canadian artists who contributed their music to the sound clips that kids can remix and go through the curriculum and learn about.
And again, giving them real world experiences, weaving the learning in
Yeah.
and relate. It's about relatability, isn't it?
It's the real deal, and
Yeah.
we're so proud that we've converted Lynx coding. We've translated it into, well, it's in
Right.
Canadian, English, and French, but we also
Right.
have it in 4 Indigenous languages as well. So,
Amazing.
and
You,
in fact, sorry, I get
yeah.
excited. Sorry, the
No
Your
worries.
Voices Power is also available in Indigenous in Inuktitut as well.
Fantastic.
So
Well,
we,
congratulations for
yeah,
that. You've
thanks.
got OCAD, you got ISTE, partnership with ISTE as well,
Yeah.
and OCAD U.
Yep, the Inclusive Design Research Center developed something called Weavely. It's a coding program that is accessible to those with physical challenges. We've got the College Board there doing things, training teachers in computer science in a different way than
Right.
we have. And Connected by Stories, that's kind of an interesting one. That's all out of
Right.
the Kelsey Learning Center in the PA,
Hmm.
Manitoba. And basically, the idea they are going to work with young Indigenous women to work as mentors with K-12 students in coding and digital skills. So it's a lot of stuff, and it's pretty exciting.
Well, congratulations. I'm so excited for you. And there's the partners. We're at C21, pleased to be part of this as well. You got Deloitte and Inksmith and Cisco,
Yeah,
Fair Chance Learning, and LCSI. And partnerships are so vital today, aren't they?
they
In
are.
really, when it comes to sustainability and making things happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Now,
We're all in it together.
now talk to me about the climate action kits and the micro bits. I mean, this is where the rubber hits the road. Then you might have a couple of tools to show us as
Well,
this is an
microbit
unboxing. Yeah.
I have the microbit here. It's just it's probably the hottest little
Yeah.
external coding device around, and it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Looks complicated to anybody who's not used to it, but their website for programming it, Make Code, is so it's so simple, and the
Right.
tutorials are fantastic. And so very young children, grade 2s and up, can start coding with this. And they can use a simulator or an emulator online on the Make Code site. And then when they get microbits, they can download it to this little device and have it do it. And that can be attached to all sorts of other motors and gears
Right.
and pulleys and so forth, which is where the climate action kit from Inksmith comes in.
Right.
This
And
is
then and
Mhm.
that's part of the prize pack, which is thank you for being generous donors of that, as well as to taking it global and to Inksmith. Uh,
Yeah, so
I thought that was great that they created these kits, and it was prior to the pandemic. The pandemic just happened to really accelerate the interest in personal kits.
hmm And you know that climate action kit's nice. Works well with the microbit, of course.
Hmm.
It doesn't have one included, but you get a microbit, and then you get a climate action kit. This one's for
Right.
land, and there's going to be others for other topics as well. But they have sensors and motors and so forth. So it'll climate action kit, for example, can sense the dryness of the soil, and when it gets too dry, it activates a motor that releases the pump and drips the water into the plant. So this is what kids can program. So there are kids. We want kids using their knowledge, not just learning information, right?
100%.
Mhm.
And hence, it's a great segue. Speaking of climate action, the UN Sustainable Development Goals are infused as part of this year's 14th, believe it or not, Peter, 14th Canadian Schools of the Future. This year, we put a twist to it, a student innovation challenge. We want teachers to engage their students in real world problem solving exercises in embedding the sustainable development goals. What do you think?
Well, I think it's awesome, and I'm congratulations to you for having run this for so many years, and for changing it up as you develop new ideas, and as kids come forward with their ideas. Because once you get those students involved, they're going to just think differently to what we as adults will think. And
Absolutely, and it's about making an impact. And now that you've got grandchildren, right?
yes, sir.
It's even more. Your kids have gone through the system, and now you got the grandchildren, and we want to leave a legacy, and leave an impact with the best possible tools, the best learning that's real world. And I'm really excited to see the impact that you've made, and over the 5 decades now. And I'm so pleased that you haven't sailed into the sunset, because you have that growth mindset. Talk to me about the growth mindset and the importance of that, and going to the conferences as we do, because the professional learning and the informal learning in combination with that is absolutely vital to the future of education.
So it's interesting. First of all, I'm still at this because I just it's a lifestyle. It's part of my identity. So it's never been just a job kind of thing.
No,
Um, but the around the growth idea, I love new challenges. When I was asked to help out with the Your Voice is Power curriculum, I mean, it sounds like I'm a coder, but I'm not a computer science
right,
person. I'm not a computer scientist. I'm not a real programmer. I know enough to be able to program and work with kids and so forth, but I didn't know Python at all. And I know
right,
virtually nothing about music unless you ask me about Pink Floyd songs. And so for me to work with that curriculum in that way, and now be teaching a bit of Python and a bit about music to teachers and kids, is actually it's very good, because they get to see a novice learning on the fly.
yeah.
So they don't get just the content. They get to see a learner learn, and that's probably one of the best things teachers can do with students, is go into the unknown with them.
Right. And co-learn, right? It's a notion of,
Yeah.
as we are here in the Mindshare Workspace, it's a co-working and co-learning space. Well, proudly, we have a student here who, Rania, just got accepted to Sauder School of Business in UBC,
Cool.
and we've been nurturing her skills, and she's contributed to our organization here, and it's been a mutually beneficial partnership. So that's really what it's about going forward, and we're thrilled to partner with you, Peter, and Code to Learn, and LCSI, and taking it global, Michael Furtick, and we're in great company, and we look forward to seeing some great submissions. And if you're
Yeah.
interested in making a submission, there's 19 days to go, so be sure to inspire your network that you're working with, and they can learn more at www.mindsharelearning.com or .ca. And you've got your site that we just shared earlier, and I can pop that into the chat as well for those who might be interested.
I'll
Um,
do that if you like.
yeah, in the comments section, and I think I can paste that in or
I'm going
not.
to do it without the Google
Okay,
link.
sure.
There we go.
Yeah.
Cancoachlearn.ca is sort of where everything is right now. We're
Yeah.
redeveloping the Code to Learn site because we've got the go ahead now to do things. So we're just freshening things up over on that site as well. So we sort of
When
run two sites.
awesome. When are they announcing the actual press release? Do you have any idea about that?
I don't actually.
Yeah. Okay.
Hmm.
Well,
Well,
stay tuned.
I think relatively shortly because we were asked to
Okay.
submit stuff, descriptors to the government for just yet last week. So it should be pretty soon. They'll have that.
Awesome. Peter Skillen, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Robert. Appreciate it.
That was Peter Skillen, education legend, um, Code to Learn, senior manager and director of curriculum. My name is Robert Margolacci of the Mindshare Learning Report. Be sure to check out www.mindshare Learning to get your latest issue. And until next time, stay healthy, stay safe, and keep the learning curve